Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering of my Sampler Platter. Yes, indeed, folks, Sampler Platter video series videos I do for a while now, where I go over there, try food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Folks, then I talk about the stuff. I'll let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. All the while, Peter Can Thunderbolt poster is behind me, looking over me, judging me. He's over there. I got a crappy old ladder off to the side, not judging me. Alright, it's a crappy old ladder. It's doing its own thing. It's not concerned about what I'm doing. Then I got some Marvel figures over there, and on top of that, I'm wearing a cool shirt. What cool shirt am I wearing? Boom! Mr. Spock shirt. Hello. I'm more of a, I'll be the first person to admit, I'm more of a next-gen guy. That was the era of Star Trek that I grew up in. Picard, Riker, Worf, Deanna Troi, you know, so on and so forth. But I was fortunate when I was little to go over there and catch the original stuff as well. And even then, was totally into it. It's one of the things I think people underestimate. And I think this goes for a lot of types of media. Where it's like, you know, kids today, you know, with all the things that we have now and stuff. I think if you introduce it to them early enough, I think when you're that young, you have so much imagination and you're willing to, you know, not even suspend disbelief, because like at that age you're just taking it in. And for me, that was very much the case with the original Star Trek. Like, even though next gen, you know, looked better, had better effects and everything like that. I mean, yeah, you know, you look at it now and some of it is a little bit dated. But I could still watch the original stuff and fully appreciate it. Like, I didn't care that, you know, the Gorn looked, you know, kind of like a cheap Halloween costume or anything like that. It was still just cool. And Mr. Spock, Mr. Spock. But anyway, Mr. Spock aside, what am I trying for y'all today, folks? Well, I got a twofer for you because we're doing, boom! We've got VOOZ, Hydration Sensation, Wild and Watermelon, and Blue Razz. I actually had no idea what the fuck these things were. And it wasn't until I talked with, and I've mentioned his stuff before, there's a guy who also does a review show, Nathan's Fast Talk Food Reviews. If my reviews are too wordy for you and they just kind of prattle on, please go check out his stuff. He reviews a lot of the same things that I review, but also a lot of things that I don't, as well as, you know, sometimes I review things that he doesn't. And, but his stuff is, like, typically about, like, you know, 5 minutes long or so. It gets right to the point. I ramble, so if I remember, I'll put a link to his page in the description below. But, yeah, I actually talked with him, and I brought these up. And he mentioned, and then, of course, I looked. Yeah, they're Bang. See, they got the Bang logo. They just don't call them Bang. And I guess, from what I can sort of guess, maybe they're like Bang Gatorade? Let's see, it's got a thing on the back. The visionaries at Bang Energy are excited to bring you an all-new and cutting-edge VOOZ, V-O-O-Z, hydration sensation, infused with 4 specialized electrolytes called Ketolites. The refreshing and delicious VOOZ alternative transcends sports hydration with 4th fuel energy. Oh, man, whenever they just always got to come up with all kinds of new things, like they're fucking inventing rocket fuel. Anyway, yeah, I found these at the dollar store. I think they cost me $1. And I figured, what the fuck, I'll give them a shot. I typically like Bang. I've done some of the Bang stuff. In fact, the same time I went to go do those, I got the Root Beer Blast Bang, so go ahead and watch that video. And I figured, what the hell? I'm interested to see what they do, because they're not the first ones to do this. Monster, they have Monster Hydro. And in fact, I still remember when Monster Hydro first came out. It originally came out in these cool plastic cans. And you'd still pop them and everything like that, but they were really neat looking. Then they switched over to like the bigger resealable ones, which realistically were more practical. And then they went and made them smaller, like, yeah. So, I actually like Monster Hydro sometimes, but we'll be interested to see how Bang does it. We're going to try the Blue Razz first, because it's the one in my hand. It smells blue raspberry-y. I'll be interested to see, 1, is it carbonated, and 2, like, how does it compare to, like, you know, a Gatorade or a Monster Hydro, so. I don't think it's carbonated. The flavor is nice. I like it. I would say it actually tastes maybe a little bit like, if I'm comparing it to something, somewhat similar, like the Gatorade Cool Blue flavor, because blue is a flavor, kind of falls in a similar line with that, but the taste is a bit more distinct, a little bit less sports drink, and a little bit more emphasizing like the blue raspberry flavor. It's not bad. I can dig it. It's kind of sweet, not overly so. I will say this as a critique, it does taste a little bit heavier than I would like for a sports drink. Because if I'm drinking a sports drink versus a soda or or an energy drink, I want it to be fairly light on the palate. Because, I'm drinking it for not only taste, but for, like, hydration reasons. Like, a lot of times when when I'm at work, I'll go over there especially during the summer, instead of grabbing, like a Coke or something like that from the vending machine, I'll go over there and I'll get a Gatorade, because I can just go over there and down that really quickly, get some quick hydration, kind of refuel myself a little bit, go about my day. With this, I feel it's a little bit heavier than that, which kind of, I could see making the hydration aspect of things a little bit more cumbersome, I guess. It feels like there's a little bit more effort into drinking it than for like something, again, like a Gatorade, where it's just, because when you want hydration, you want it to be basically as close to water as possible. Realistically, you should probably just drink water, but in terms of what it's providing, it's not bad. Like, I like the taste of it. I'm very much a proponent for cans when it comes to most things. I have, however, found that when it comes to, like, sports drinks, and it's probably just because, I'm so used to sports drinks being in plastic containers, but I definitely think that plastic containers work better. Not only do I think it works better with the taste, because, like, I've had Gatorade in cans, and something about it just doesn't work quite right. But then on top of that, you have the resealable cap, you have a bigger opening, so you can kind of down it faster. So, I think there's that end of things. It's part of the reason why Monster probably moved away from using their weird cans that they had. But, on a flavor level, it's good. It's sweet, maybe a little sweeter than Gatorade. And the blue raspberry flavor actually comes out pretty nicely. So, yeah, it's good. It's, like I said, with my criticisms being what they are, I would probably not 100% attribute it to, like, a Gatorade experience. But it's still good, and if it does what it's supposed to do, then obviously, so. All right, let's move on to the Wildman Watermelon. I'm more excited for this because I'm almost certain that Gatorade had a watermelon flavor, but I don't think I've seen it in a long time, so. It smells watermelony. Now, the key thing for me personally when it comes to watermelon stuff, are they going to amp up the flavor of the watermelon to an abrasive point? Because for me, a lot of times when they do watermelon flavored stuff, they push it way too far. Watermelon is a very mellow flavor. I want it to be a mellow flavor. I don't need it to be amped up. So, let's see what they do with it. Well, okay. Alright, well, they kind of did. They kind of amped it up. Not to the extent that they did with, like, the crushed watermelon. Crushed watermelon, I've never done a review for it, but if you've ever tried it, it tastes basically like you're drinking watermelon Jolly Rancher. Which, if you're into that, kudos. I am not. I feel like it's too punchy, and I don't know, it doesn't work for me the way I'd like it to. Conversely, the Mountain Dew Major Melon, which again I haven't done a review for, but That I actually really like as a melon soda because it's more subdued, and I think it works better. With this, it's not as crazy as that, but it's still, they definitely amped up the watermelon flavoring. And the thing is, because it's not a soda, it doesn't have that like carbonation to kind of like soothe it over a little bit, I guess. So it comes off as being almost sour. Yeah. The funny thing is, I think this one actually drinks a little bit easier than this one. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way it's flavored. Maybe it's just the way it's, produced. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't mind it, and like I said, I do think it's a little bit easier to drink than the other one. But is it an ideal watermelon flavor for me? No. I would personally have liked it, again, to have been a little bit more subdued. Because, again, it's just a mellow flavor. And especially for a sports drink, I don't need it to be, like, super punchy in flavor. Like, again, the hydration is the key aspect there. So, yeah, I mean, for me, maybe dial back the punchy watermelon flavor a little bit. Because I think if you'd had it be more mellow, not only would it have, for me, worked better for my palate, but then on top of that, I think it would have been better as like a sports drink sensation. So yeah, I mean, that's going to do it for me on this one for the most part. Bang, VOOZ, not bad. But if I'm comparing them against Gatorade and, Monster Hydro, they're definitely the third out of three. I like what they're doing with the flavors and stuff. I think that if they keep it up and if they like kind of work with it a little bit, maybe they could go over there and kind of round it out to something similar. But for me, I think Gatorade still works best. Monster, I think, works best. I like to use it when I do 24-hour movie marathons. I don't do very often, but, like once a year. Because they're good for hydration and keeping you awake. These are still good. I would recommend people try them because I think maybe if you like sports drink stuff, they could be an interesting alternative. But for me personally, they're just not exactly to my personal taste. But they're still good. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for me on this one. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Spectacular sweet. Monumental rest months. Dependence right here. Folks, if you could go over there and have yourselves a truly hydrated rest of your life. Because, I mean, really, that's just good advice. I mean, as carbon-based life forms and stuff, we need to be hydrated, right? I love being hydrated. I'm a big fan. Very final 2 things, folks. Number 1, try to bring some positivity to the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You try not to be an asshole. Now, I put try at the beginning. That's very intentional because it's very difficult sometimes in our lives to not be assholes. We face a lot of problems, a lot of frustrations, a lot of difficulties, where the go-to move would be to be the asshole. But we try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Take a step back, make that active effort. I think that'll help. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. I'll tell you what the thing I'm going to do. As soon as I'm done with this, I am racing to the bathroom. I am struggling right now. But, I mean, maybe you need to use the bathroom too. I would hope that your aspirations in life are greater than to simply go to the washroom. But that could be a good starting point. And if you need to, then you go out and you do it. Or, conversely, maybe you do go use the washroom. Maybe you bring your phone in there. Maybe you read some interesting articles. You learn a new language while being on the toilet. There we go, folks. That's what you should do. Bye!